Hey there, it's Ricky Cecchini, the VP of Product at Cloud Radial, and we're continuing on with our ServiceAI onboarding series. And in this video, we're going to take a look at Triage, which currently is available only for ConnectWise and Autotask PSA customers, but that hopefully will change soon. So if that's not you right now, go ahead and skip to the next video and I'll show you something that's relevant to everybody. But if that is you, stick around. So let's take a look at how it works. Now, in the last video, we talked about hooking up your PSA. And why did we do that? We did that so we can start to build a database of your notes, of your documentation, trying to basically enrich the AI to get that reporting and tech assistance in there. But Triage doesn't really rely on any of that stuff. It can work immediately, even as your tickets are building. So if you're looking for a little oomph, looking to try to get some value out of the tool immediately, this is for you. Let's see how to do it. So we're going to go to Settings at the top. We're going to click on the Triage button over here. And when you first start, you're going to have it off, and all it is a flip of a button, right? So when you flip on the button, what you're going to see is that you've got an option to test your permissions. So hopefully if you set things up per the documentation, you'll get a couple of valids. And that just means that we can actually modify the tickets the way we want to. And test mode is something I strongly recommend. So what that does is it shows you what the logic would be, what it would have done, what the AI would have changed and triaged without actually doing it, which gives you time and room to dial in exactly what you want as you test it out. Now, the rules aren't super relevant when you first start out, but they're very helpful as you go on. Why? Well, look at the options, right? The routing rules are literally your triggers to start to say, hey, maybe I want printer tickets to go to the printer queue or printer board. And assignment rules can say things like, well, it's a security issue and that goes to James. So writing these in is really easy. They're prompts, so you can actually go in and put a rule in, and I usually recommend at least, or really at most, one rule per prompt, and you can just keep adding and adding and adding. That's just generally AI best practices. It helps it to keep it kind of straight and not too confused. Categorization rules certainly apply after you've done some testing. This is how you correct the AI on its own subcategorization. So maybe you got the type right in your ticket categorization, but it didn't quite nail the subtype, so you can kind of give it little gentle nudges here and there to make sure it's doing things correctly. We'll revisit this in just a second. Priority alert keywords is nothing more than what it sounds like. If it finds the keywords in this ticket, it'll bump up the priority and you can customize them. And we generally always look for these, plus maybe some other key keywords that I'll send you a little bit later to help you out. And then automatic field updates, especially in test mode, you want to see what this thing can do. So I always say, let it all on. What the heck? Let's try it out. But as you actually go live with it and you really come to rely on, maybe you like the way it renames stuff, maybe you don't really love how it raises or lowers the priority, you can always turn them off to really fit your use case. So we'll play with that in a bit as well. And arguably the most important bit is at the bottom, which is what queues, what boards are we monitoring? And this is going to be what Triage is running on specifically. So again, it doesn't actually even have to be the same boards and queues we set up the sync from, because you may want to learn information from a specific board, but you may have a triage board or some kind of a dispatch board that you would like the AI assistance on. So feel free, you can add one or multiple. And you can do the spam destination one. So what happens is if ServiceAI detects a spam ticket, it'll stop processing it. It doesn't want to waste its time renaming and categorizing something that's obviously junk. But if you have a spam board or queue and you enter it in here, it can actually take those tickets that it categorizes as spam and throw them over there as quarantine. Again, I know plenty of MSPs that don't necessarily have one, but if you do, feel free to play with it. It's a pretty cool feature. And nestled between these two is an option for ignore tickets. And all that's going to do is it's going to let you, same way as the rules, drop in some prompts to say ignore this or that. Usually you want to do that with like RMM tickets or backup tickets or security tickets, stuff that you don't necessarily want the AI to be renaming or touching because it may mess you up more than it actually helps. So lots of power here. Now what I'll do for now is I'll just turn it on in test mode and we'll actually test out a ticket. Now what I've done is I've turned it on, so you should start to see triage tickets come through. You don't always have the fortune of turning it on and immediately having tickets come through, so we're gonna put some through the system right now. Now what you're seeing here is that I've got a number of tickets and I've got the tickets on the screen. So what's happened is I've been testing this. I've worked with this before, and at this stage what I would advise is whether you email it in, whether you create it directly in the PSA or you use a form, submit a ticket. Let's see what actually happens. So what I'll do is I'll drag over a Cloud Radial window. This is a UCP window, simulating a client, right, submitting a ticket to my ConnectWise. So in this case, our user, Steven, opens up a ticket and he's a user. So he's going to type in something like hi as the subject, or help, or maybe something even more generic like, please look into this. Now, in this case, what I'll do, because I know I have a type and subtype that's printer related, is I'll purposely kind of bait it into selecting the right type. So I'm going to say my printer is out of ink. And what the heck, let's even drop in a capitalize, help me now. So what I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to make sure the AI can both rename this in a way that it's helpful, so it's not just a poor subject for my technicians to work on, and I'm looking for it to intelligently associate my existing types and subtypes or whatever things it has available to that ticket. So let's see how that works. I'm going to submit that there. It went through, and it's in test mode, so I don't expect it to make any changes, but let's pop open our ConnectWise and I'll reload this, and here's please look into this. And we can open that up and we can see, sure enough, Stephen Larson, please look into this, printer is out of ink. Awesome. Now let's go back to triage, and I'm going to refresh the screen. So if you are doing this along with me or you're testing it out, what successful triages look like is you should see that number climbing up as you turn it on. A hot tip is to take your filter and turn it to all data, because that's going to show you all the tickets coming in. And we can actually see that Stephen Larson ticket just came in right now. So we can generally click on it and see what happened. So see the ticket, we see please look into this. The client is urgently requesting the assistance because the printer's out of ink. No spam detected. We didn't ask it to change anything with the routing, no duplicate detection. So what did it do? Well, it changed the title to urgent. It changed my category and subcategory of printer hardware, and it even raised my priority because it noticed a distressed user. And all of that in sub 8 seconds, which is pretty good. So I'm liking what I'm seeing, but maybe I have some corrections. In fact, I know I do. What am I talking about? Well, take a look at this subcategory. So it said printer and hardware. Now what I really want it to do is, I know that it was an ink ticket, right? It specifically says my printer's out of ink. And I know if I look at this, I have the printer type for sure, and the subtype I have toner and ink. So this is a good use case to try to figure out like, hey, maybe I should correct it. Now, in practice, what you want to do is turn on triage, turn on test mode, kind of let that build for a little bit. And then after you get 5, 10, 50, it's really up to you, you can come back in and review its decisions and kind of do this in one pass. So I'm going to go back to my triage area. Let's say I've seen this operate over a couple of days and I really feel like it keeps missing the mark on that. So I'm going to drop a rule into categorization. So I'm going to say, if you see a ticket relating to printer ink or toner, the subtype. And then what I found with working with AI is that quotes work really well because it looks for kind of an exact match there. So I like that. So in theory, this should correct it now. And what I'll do is we'll test it live on the call. I'll turn off test mode and we will save it. And we'll basically try to resubmit that same ticket. Now, what I'm expecting to happen is I want this to actually change the status of the ticket, and we want to see that logged as well. So let's try that again, shall we? We're going to open up that ticket again from Stephen. This time we're going to call it, hi there. And we're going to say that the specific comment is going to be like, printer out of toner. Again, what happens? So let's submit that. That's going to go through. Let's check the boards. We'll see that ticket come through one more time. Hi there. So right now it hasn't changed the subject or done anything. Hi there, and the type and subtype is unlisted. I'm going to refresh this ticket. You might see me do it a few times because I want to see it actually getting updated. So let's see. Click. Printer type came in. Printer out of toner. Urgent refills needed. And there we go. Toner and ink. Awesome. So not only did it do the ticket properly, but it actually logged that as well. And if we go back to ServiceAI, we should be able to see that in the triage log too. So let me refresh the screen one more time. Make sure we have that log accurate and we can see it in there. So here we go. And same thing. Hey, Stephen Larson reports the printer's out of toner again. And we can see that stuff pop up again. That's really all there is to triage. It's something that's super cool because it works really easily, it works really quickly, and it's something that I think is really valuable and worth your time. And again, now you can see that the changes were applied to the PSA. It told you it was in live mode. So get out there and start playing with it. I mean, throw it around in test mode, get a look at how it behaves, and again, give it corrections as needed using your rules. In the next video, we're going to transition gears and we're going to focus on technician assistance, how to test and see how the AI chat sandbox works. And we're going to basically talk about it in a general term for every PSA. And then we're also going to talk about it for Autotask and ConnectWise, how you can actually put that AI chat sandbox right alongside the tickets, which you may or may not have noticed is what's happening in my own. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you for the next one.